Hi there, welcome to Life Unscripted with Coach Kanye. I'm Coach Kanye. It is a beautiful Sunday morning here in Mexico, Puerto Escondido, where I'm traveling, just feeling the ground underneath my feet, living at ease and joy and creation. And today, though, what I want us to talk about is setting those financial boundaries with your family. You know what I'm talking about. You know how you have this sense of obligation, this huge burdensome responsibility of taking care of your family. But sometimes though, and a lot of the times if you're honest with yourself, that feeling, that obligation rather, makes you feel resentful and burnt out. And so this is why I want to talk to you about how do you create financial boundaries with your family and why they are important. But first, I want to start telling you a story about how this topic impacted me in my life. I'll also be sharing with you some stories of my clients. In 2010, I got a job to teach English in South Korea. I was so excited. I was 25 years old, and this was going to be my first big girl job, and it was overseas. And that year, though, I was sending half of my salary back home. Half. My salary was renovating my grandmother's house, and it made me happy to do it. But even when the house was done, I was still sending half. It kept continuing. And on top of that, the half that I had left for myself, I was sending money, paying my brother's rent in Cape Town, paying for food where he was in university. And I did not even keep half of my salary in my first big girl job. And when that contract ended and I had finished the year in South Korea, I had no money. I had no savings. I literally had no money, none. And I remember this feeling of failure, first of all, where I was like, I worked for a year. How am I going back home with just this much? I literally went home with my last salary. Luckily, they doubled it up because I had finished my contract. But I was like, where is the rest of my money now? I don't want to blame my family because that girl did have a good time in South Korea. But sending that much home, it took a lot. My watch is on, so I'm looking at text coming through. I'm telling you this because when I realized that something was off, I wasn't able to create the life that I wanted. I wasn't able to save, or if I wanted to go home, I didn't have enough money saved to even start a life back home. But I wanted to keep traveling. I wanted to keep working, so I did that. And the feeling that left me with was resentment. I resented the obligation. I resented the load. I resented the burden. I resented that I was made to believe that taking care of my brother was something I had to do. I resented that. I resented the expectation. And a lot of us, it's not that we're just like, oh, I'm going to do it. No, it starts from such a young age. It starts from when we are small. We haven't even started talking. Some of us are walking and we hear these messages. Oh, Kanyisa, when you have a job one day, you're going to do this for your family. Oh, Kanyisa, when you're doing this one day, this is how much money you're going to be giving us. And these messages seep through and we start believing that that's what we are supposed to do. And we do it and we keep doing it. And the more we do it, the more resentful we get. I cannot tell you the number of clients that I have who are feeling so financially exhausted and drained. Women who make enough money to create amazing lives. And when I tell you, they make enough money to live amazing lives, but they cannot afford to. One of the stories that's coming to my head now is a client of mine that's a scientist. She's a freaking scientist, but she has 4 older brothers and her parents, and she's taking care of them. And I want you to note that I said 4 older brothers, and she is the one taking care of them. They're at home, getting drunk, doing whatever it is, that's what she told me, doing whatever it is that they're doing. And she's like, Coach, I don't mind taking care of my parents. It's my brothers. I cannot do it anymore. And here's where it is stopping her. She wants to have her own freaking skincare company. She's like, I have the formulas. I have everything I need. I just don't have the money. But I'm at a job where I make the money. So my dreams, my goals, my hopes, everything that I want to become has taken a back, like way back. I don't even have dreams anymore because of this financial obligation that my family has put on me. And honestly, I think it is cruel. I genuinely think it is so cruel for families to make one person take care of other grown human people. Whoa, it took a lot for me to not drop out the MF word. Taking care of, it is so incredibly cruel that that's the expectation. And this is what I hear a lot too. People will be like, oh, the black tax. No. And some people say the female tax, which is, and when someone said that, because I was calling it the black tax and someone said, no, coach, it's actually the female tax. Female children are expected to do that. And I work mostly with women. And when I tell you, these women genuinely show that it is the female tax. The labor of being a woman who works and is expected to carry the burden, the financial burden. And this is what I want you to highlight in this video. These are 3 things that are happening to you as you are not setting financial boundaries with your family. The first one is you are overwhelmed and you are burnt out. You know it's true. You're overwhelmed and you're burnt out and you are exhausted and you're at a point where you don't enjoy life. You don't even enjoy the job that you're doing because you know at the end of the month, you're scraping out pennies. You are in debt. Oh my God, this one drives me absolutely fucking nuts. You are in debt right now because your family has put you in debt. I see it. I have a client who was like, Coach, I am on my way to a loan shark. I am on my way to make a loan so that I can take care of my mom and my older brother. The overwhelm, the exhaustion that you are feeling right now because you are carrying this burden, this financial burden, and we gotta get you to set those boundaries. Number 2, you become resentful. I told you how I became resentful. I told you how I looked at my life and I was like, I resent this story. I resent the people that make me live out this story. I resent the reasons, culture, you're the woman now, your mom has passed, you're the older sister, you have to. I don't fucking have to. I resent the story. And it got to a point where I resented even having a job and a drive because I was like, yo, this is not for me. Why am I doing this? Where I cut off, I have to tell you this story. I was on my way to work in South Korea and it was snowing and it was snowing hard. And I was on my way to work and I got to work and I got a WhatsApp message that said, your brother needs this. And I felt mad. I felt so upset. I was like, I am in this country alone, walking in snow, and these are the messages that I'm getting. And I am done. And I am done. And I started learning how to set those boundaries. I started being a little like, let's have a proper plan. Let's have a working plan here because I cannot keep doing it anymore. And the last thing that happens to you, and this one is huge, baby. This one is huge for you. You miss out on creating your life. You need money to create the life that you desire. The travel, the spa dates, the expansion of your finances, the multiple streams of income, whatever it is that you desire, you need money for it. But you don't have it. And here's the fuckery of it all. You can have it. You just don't have boundaries with your family where you're like, this is how things are gonna shift. But I wanna give you these 3 tips. I wanna give you 3 tips on how to set these boundaries with your family. The first thing is, I want you to have compassion. Type compassion in the comments. And while you're doing that, go and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button so you know when I've released a new video. This is going to be week after week after week of us talking to each other, having this difficult conversation. So I need you here, engaged and involved, okay? So the first thing that I want you to do is have compassion. This is what I tell my clients. You have been this, I'm 38, right? I know I don't look it. You have been this person that you are for however old you are. And I started working like 15, 20 years ago, and All these years, that's how you've been operating. This is how people know you to be. Compassion is, I understand that this is who you know me to be, but I'm changing now. And with that compassion, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be okay with repeating the boundaries. I'm going to be okay with saying some things over and over and over again until it lands. I'm also going to be okay with the fact that you're going to be upset and you're going to be angry. And I have compassion. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to wait for you. But I'm not going to change my mind. And here's number 2. Be assertive. Be assertive with your boundaries. Have them. Be assertive with them. Have the compassion, but be assertive with your boundaries. And what does that look like? When people come to you and they're like, come on, you're like, that's my boundary. I hold fast. I hold fast in it. I'm steadfast in this boundary. This is what we are doing right now. Number 3, communicate them. Ah, my eyes itchy. Communicate the boundary. A lot of you, I see this in all my platforms where like, I just cut people off. That's a fear response. You're afraid of what they're going to say. It's true, you are. We don't set boundaries for 3 reasons. We are scared of disappointing people. We are scared that they will reject us. And we are scared of that feeling of guilt when we do set the boundaries. So we don't set them. So you cutting people off and not communicating, it's a fear response. It's you being like, oh, I don't want to deal with whatever they're going to throw at me, so I'm just going to cut them off. And you think that is an empowering stance. No, it's not. It's a weak fear stance. An empowering stance is sitting them down, sitting your family down, sit your mom and dad down and saying, Mom and Dad, I want to buy a house next year, so I'm not going to be giving as much. Sitting your siblings down. Listen, guys, I've been giving this much money to you now for as long as I can. I'm going to give you 3 months to get jobs and then I'll stop. Whether you have a job or not, in 3 months, I'm done. That's how you communicate. And you bring it from a hard place. And I want you to know also, like, your responsibility is the communication. Their responsibility is the response. You cannot control how they respond to you. Their anger, their rage, their disappointment, their fear, them calling you selfish because now you're choosing your dreams, your goals, and yourself is none of your business. What you get to do in those moments is know why. Why are these boundaries so important to me? Why is being assertive so important to me? Why is what I'm doing so important? What is the life that I want to create? And make that why the thing that holds you. Make it the thing that keeps you going, not the thing that makes you go, fine, take my money. And the last thing is maintain the boundaries. One of the big mistakes I see people make is set a boundary and then be the first one to cross the boundary. Create the boundary, be the first one to like, okay, whatever. No, if you say this is my boundary, you not go be because what you're teaching people is, I wasn't that serious. It's not that important to me. I was just, no. When you say I said it and I meant it, and you're the one who maintains your boundaries, and you're the one who's like, you're going to have to respect it. You're going to have to respect these boundaries. People will start falling along. And also, like, be okay with that temporary separation and isolation. Because when people are mad at you, they're just going to start removing themselves. They're just going to be like, well, she doesn't love me anymore. You're like, no, I do love you. I just love myself a little bit more now. And I'm trying to figure out what that looks like for myself. And setting these financial boundaries with you is part of that self-love journey for me. So that's what I have for you today. For you to create this life that you want to create, for you to be this person that you want to be, you have to be steadfast in creating those financial boundaries with your family. My name is Coach Kanye, and this has been Life Unscripted with Kanye, and I will see you next week. Remember to subscribe, hit that like button, and tell me in the comments what stood out for you. Let me know if this is something that you needed to hear, if this is the type of content that you want me to create. And I'll leave you with this. Be tender with yourself and be loving with yourself. You deserve to. Bye.